All right, good evening, everybody. It is a wet, rainy, windy, and before snowy day in New York City. It's crazy because it's already March, but it was snowing all day today. It just stopped raining, so thank God. So hopefully we will have, well, let's say a little bit more of a drier stream, but today was a good day in the market. However, even though all the major indices finished in the green, it did not qualify for a follow-through day because volume on all the major exchanges were very light. We also want to see that green positive action right along with some very forceful volume. We didn't get that, so we're still going to have to keep an eye on things. In other news, Amazon coming out with some really big news, a 20-for-1 stock split. So we'll talk about that a little bit more tonight on the stream. And CrowdStrike, yes, CrowdStrike, a very notable cybersecurity company, reported great earnings, but with slight deceleration. So let's see who we have in the chat. Hey, Chris Beeman says, oh my God, really early. Yeah, so a little bit earlier tonight. I do have to wake up very early tomorrow. So good to see you, Chris. I see Melissa White. Hey, we got Reels in the house. What's up, Reels? Long time no see. Michelle Henry. Wolf Theta. We have Jeff. We have Joey. Says, hey, Tom. Vinny Castellano says, hey, friend. Hope you had a great day. I had a good day. Very busy, but very good. Good to see you, Vinny Castellano. Mets fan 1023 says, early stream tonight. Good to see you, Mets fan. I see Chris Beeman, Ruby Falcone. Good to see you. How are you? Reels, sorry I've been MIA, but miss you, bro. Good to hear your voice again. Good to see you, Reels. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Lori E, good to see you. Mets fan Melee says, good evening from Strand, Pennsylvania. Hey, Tom. Otto is here. Tyree. John says, how are you, my friend? Gigi says, good evening, Tom. Good to see you, Gigi. Diana Thompson, welcome. And I think I see Moonflower 61 says, hello from Central Florida. Mike says, Tom, did you buy the pullback in oil today? I did not. But Mike Simmons, it's interesting that you mentioned that. So I did send out the newsletter to everybody, and we were talking about this potential pullback in energy. So ticker symbol for crude oil is CL. We had a pretty brutal pullback today. Also in the XLE, which is the Spider Energy Sector ETF, we had a pullback. So I think a lot of the big money on Wall Street has been using a lot of this liquidity to exit positions. Wooster says oil is overextended. I agree with you. So if anybody didn't receive the newsletter, the Behind the Street newsletter that I write once a week for everybody, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where we talked about oil, we talked about commodity cycles. Hey, Frank Gonzalez is here, so good to see you, Tom. What's up, Frank? Heaney says, walks on Wall Street, good to see you. Chris Beeman says, wow, 2 shots. 2 shout-outs early. What's up, Chris? Wooster's here. We have Santo. We have Carol H. Says, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Carol. Carlos Cruz says, hey, Tom, I got you on the big screen. Awesome. So I'm not sure if anybody was in New York today, but what a crazy day. What a crazy day. It went from raining to snowing. It's just a wild day. Hey, Dwayne is here. Says, nice view in New York City. Good to see you. Lori E says, I didn't even get my supper dishes done in time for tonight's stream. We could always multitask. Wolf Theta has had a good day with some oil calls. Very cool. Razzle Dazzle is here. What's up, Razzle Dazzle? Says, hope you had a really good day at work. I did. It was busy. We're working on a couple bigger deals, but the only thing about dealing with bigger accounts or larger enterprises is the sales cycle tends to be crazy extended. So a little bit frustrating, but it's a work in progress. We'll get it done. But good to see you, Razzle Dazzle. I see British Gray, the one and only, from Tampa, Florida. Good to see you, British Gray. I hope you are well. Definitely a lot better weather in Tampa, Florida. I can't believe it was snowing here in New York in March. Arun Z says, good evening, Tom, and stay warm. Thank you so much. The temperature is dropping. Cabrini, Copa, good to see you. Two Wheel Pines, my pal, good to see you. Says, what's up, Tom? Welcome, everybody. Kim Grant is here. Darrell B says, good evening, everybody. What's going on? John says, Tom, I am a New York Rangers fan. How about you? I think I'm a Rangers fan. I guess over the Islanders. But everybody, just real quick, it's not going to be too long of a stream tonight because I do have to wake up very early for something tomorrow. But we did have a major rally day on Wall Street today. But here's the only caveat. It did not qualify for a follow-through day because the volume was really light across the board on the major exchanges. What we want to see is whenever we have these big rally days, we also want to see the volume picking up. So we want to see very high volume on the exchanges. So this may be just a short covering rally. We are extended from the major moving averages, so price tends to rally back into those moving averages. But until we have a true follow-through day, we will stay clear. British Gray says, Tom, gas station here in Tampa is $4.15 per gallon. So my neighbor actually just texted me because I let him park his car in my driveway. And he's like, hey, I filled up in Miami today for $5 a gallon. Isn't that crazy? $5 a gallon in Miami? GGMYC says, we went from Tropical Monday in a few days. I know. Yeah, so GGMYC, to your point, I always say weather in New York is hit or miss in March. It's really crazy. So I think earlier in the week, or last week, was about 65 degrees. And today it was snowing, so that just gives you an idea of what it's like living in New York. Carlos says, good evening, Tom. Good evening to you too, Carlos. Hope you had a good one. We have the one and only Swan from Ireland. Good to see you, the Swan. Sally is here. Says, hey, Tom, beautiful view. I'm here watching. Good to see you, Sally. So this is one of my favorite buildings in New York. Check out the architecture as well as the fire escapes here. Chris Beeman says, I hope you are getting up early to catch a plane to Miami. Whew. We'll see. We'll have to see about that. How's the weather in Arizona? Vidi Castellano says, what do you think of Biden's order for cryptocurrency? I think it's going to be a non-issue, to be honest. Mark Davis says, good evening there, Tom. Hope all is well with you. You were out early tonight. Hello from Toronto, Canada. What's up, Mark? Yeah, we're out early because we do have to end the stream a bit early because I have to get up extremely early tomorrow. Sophia Griffiths says, miss living in New York. You got to come back. Moonflower 61 says it's beautiful here. Also, Amazon announced after the bell today that they are going to be going through a 20-for-1 stock split, which is kind of crazy. And the stock was up quite a bit after hours. And I actually wasn't too happy about that because just on finicky news like this, which isn't even real big news for the company, you know, if we could see such volatility in the price, it's very indicative of the market we are in, confirming the bearish action. Lori E, good to see you. Welcome. Michelle Henry, how are you? Daddy Bog is here, says good evening, welcome. Kim Grant says, Tom, it's supposed to snow in Prescott, Arizona. Rooster says, OE, good for building confidence in cryptocurrencies. So we had a big bid across the board in a lot of the major cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you guys know the only exposure I have to cryptocurrency is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I do not trade these assets. I just hold them. And I never plan on selling. Mainly as a part of a diversified portfolio. Not a lot of exposure, but exposure nonetheless. I see unlimited stimulus here. It says Amazon played trump card stock. Was headed to 2K. Mark Davis says, how is business, Tom? You must be inundated with the business ventures. Yeah, I mean, so things are going well, but It's just a lot of the deals that I have juggling in the air, they tend to be more on the enterprise side. So the only thing is the sales cycles are extremely long. For anybody who's, obviously has experience, selling into big enterprise accounts, the good news is these deals tend to be a little bit more lucrative, obviously because of their size and scale. But the only drawback is the sales cycle tends to be a little bit elongated. So you could spend 12 months in a full sales cycle because it has to go through significant vetting, the integration process, the legalese. So work in progress. Hey, Jason Francis is here. What's up, Jason? Welcome. Michelle Henry says, I'm good. Hope you're doing well. But Mark Davis, what about you? Hope your business ventures are doing good. S is here, says, my 4-year-old daughter loves your show. That is awesome. Faithfully, can you give her a quick shout out? Her name is, I'm going to butcher the name. I'm so sorry. Jayana. I'm horrible at pronunciation, but Jayana, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great Wednesday, already the middle of the week. And I'm very, very glad you're enjoying the show. And I hope you have a good day at school tomorrow. I think 4-year-olds go to school, right? I forget. Maybe homeschool? But thank you for watching. Unlimited Stimulus is Amazon, the leader in cloud. So if you're talking about their AWS platform, yes. So I would say that the top dogs, if you will, in cloud computing is the Amazon AWS platform, also Microsoft Azure and Google's Google Cloud Unit. DI is here. Welcome, DI. Joseph says, hello, Tom, and stay safe. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. Hope you stay safe as well. So ticker symbol CRWD, CrowdStrike, which is a cybersecurity company. They reported after the bell today. Very good quarter. They reported what's called a beat and raise quarter. So CrowdStrike did beat on both the top and the bottom line. So they beat on their revenue numbers as well as their EPS, or earnings per share. And management even guided higher for the next quarter. There was slight deceleration in the quarter, but I think due to the size and scale of CrowdStrike's business, I think slight deceleration is justified. Mark Davis says, Tom, my business ventures always seem to be busy. That field constantly evolved. Medicinal purposes of cannabis. Love it, Mark. S says, she's so excited. Thank you. You pronounced it perfectly. You're amazing. You made her day. Well, that's fantastic. That made my day as well. Thank you for watching the streams. Have a great rest of the week. Yeah, Laura E says, so many ways to hail a taxi. There was no taxis to be had earlier in the day because of all this snow. Hey, I see Joyce Phillip says, good night, Tom, from Trinidad. Your newsletter was very informative. Thank you for the info. Well, thank you for reading, everybody. So just a quick update on that. We do now, I believe, have 650 readers on the Behind the Street newsletter. So thanks, everybody, for reading. Appreciate it very, very much. And if you're enjoying it, feel free to share with a friend or a colleague. Humane says, hey, Tom, when will you be going to Miami? Sunny Miami again. Hopefully soon, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm not sure about the exact dates just yet, but we should get there soon enough. Hey, the ABX girl is here. Says hi. What's up, ABX girl? Our pal from the Bronx. Streaming a little bit early tonight. This is East 15th Street, Union Square. I always see these. So when I used to work in Williamsburg, I was doing some consulting at a home healthcare agency, and I was talking to one. I believe it was a rabbi. I was talking to one of the rabbis, and supposedly these are forget the name. But I believe they're mini Jewish synagogues, but they're traveling. So you can go in there and pray and read the Torah, and I believe even during Hanukkah they give out free menorahs and candles and things like that. So very cool. Hey, Abdullah is here. Says, hey, what's up, Abdullah? Good to see you. Pixelogic says the city looks extra shiny tonight. Yeah, I mean, we were getting hammered with snow and rain and all types of nasty stuff. Thank God it just stopped. You know, right when we started streaming, all the nastiness stopped. I even have my umbrella out. So, yeah, Ruby Falcone says that's very cool for the Jewish community. Yeah, especially during the holidays, they're out giving out free candles and things like that. Also free donuts too. Yeah, Olivia says, aren't you cold up there? I am. The temperature's been all over the place. So I've been here for about 2 weeks now on business and stuff like that. It's been 65, it's been 50, it's been 20, it's been 18, back up to 50, and now we're right about at 30. So here we are at the Whole Foods, Union Square, 14th Street. I think unfortunately there was a big scene here last night. Somebody got hit in the head with a hammer. Deja Vu says, Tom, when was the last time the stock split? Well, I think the last time Amazon stock split was... I forget, actually. Could anybody keep me honest? Was it 1999? I forget. No, it must have been earlier than that. But Amazon announced a 20-for-1 stock split. Yeah, Mark Davis like, geez, Tom, it feels longer than 2 weeks you've been there. Hey, 3030 Tom says, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome. Deja Vu is here. St. Jibs says, hey, Tom, how are you? I'm doing good. We're streaming early tonight. Abdul, I see Muhammad. Welcome. Two Will Pines is hitting the head with the hammer. Geez, yeah, I think there was some police activity here. I think one of the passengers unfortunately got hit in the head with the hammer. I think it was a sort of an attempted robbery type situation. Ernest Martinez Jr. says, yo, hit the like button. Hey, Ernest. Hope you're well. We have JK here. John says, McDonald's worker is in critical condition in Harlem. Jeez. Cindy Foley says, hi, Tom, early tonight. Yes, Cindy, we are jumping on early. I finally was able to end work a little bit early today, but also, more importantly, I have to wake up really early tomorrow, so we cannot stream until midnight, unfortunately, today. So we're doing the stream a little bit early, a little bit shorter stream. It's very different streaming at this time because there tends to be a lot of people out. War Walker, this is sneaky early stream. What's up, War Walker? Good to see you. So we're going to be walking to NYU. I want to check out Washington Square Park. Should look nice tonight. Dirty D says, Tom, the passenger attacked another with a hammer after he was bumped. That's crazy. So, I mean, here's my take on that. And you guys could let me know if you think I'm crazy. But, look, if you're going on the New York City subway where there's about millions of people, millions of riders every day, I think you can pretty much expect to be bumped on the subway. Right? I think that's just like I would say it's pretty insane if I didn't get bumped on the subway. Hey, Tommy Chen is here. What's up, Tommy? Says, what's up, Tom? Today's rally was pretty insane. Thank you, Tommy Chen, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, so Tommy, I think I'm skeptical of this rally. And the only reason why I say that is because obviously, you know, we like to look for a follow-through day in the market. And even though the majority of the stocks and the indices were up big the volume was actually kind of light. So across the NYSE and such, volume was actually a little bit below average. So I think this rally is a little bit suspect. Also, we had crude oil futures got hammered today, and the XLE, which is the energy spiders ETF, came down a bit. Good to see you. Hey, JQG Atlas is here. Says, yeah, someone is gonna bump into you. Yeah, I mean, you're taking the subway. There's thousands of people, not thousands, millions. Everybody's trying to get to work. There's no big deal. D Dirty's is correct about the subway. I think it's just people are losing their tempers. I see Bitsmag TV is here. What's up, Bitsmag TV? This is good evening. I hope you're well, Bitsmag TV. So this is a very good bookstore here in New York. It's called the Strand Bookstore. And this one is on East 12th Street and Broadway. Hey, Quasi says, stay safe, bro. Thank you. So this is the Strand. Hey, Robert says, Tom, diesel is up to $6.99 in San Bruno, California. That's crazy. Vinny Castellano, my pal from Staten Island, he says, we need Rudy Giuliani back. Good to see you, Vinny. Yeah, we need somebody to clean it up, but we'll see if it gets better. Yeah, War Walker says you have to be crazy to live in these uncertain times. Hey, Brian is here, says, hey, Tom, and everybody in the chat. What's up, Brian? Good to see you. Alan Wilson says, Tom, why are you walking so early tonight? So I do have to get up extremely early to do some traveling. So we are walking early. I see my friend Joan Schwartz. Says, hey, Tom, how are you? Love Strand Books for the used books. They used to sell in the in the spot they had in Times Square. Yes, you're right. So there is a couple other bookstores down in the East Village that's a little bit better for used books. My favorite one, personally, is called East Village Books. And that is actually where I got one of the original copies of Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. And I believe that a book is worth almost $1,000. And I got it there because a lot of the times they will buy books from estate sales. So a lot of wealthy people from the Upper East Side, when they pass away, a lot of their old books are sold to some of the used bookstores here. So I tend to try to scoop up as many old finance books as I can. Hey, Carol H says the Strand has a nice old book section on the second floor. Good to see you, Carol. Hope you're having a good day. Already the middle of the week. Sebastian's here, says, hey, Tom, good to see you, Sebastian. IBN Swan says, hey, I was there last week. Very good bookstore, that one. Really like it. Sebastian's here. Mr. Schwartz says, good recommendation, Tom. Cheers, everybody. Photos from around New York, our good moderator. Says, Tom, top floor of Strand, now closed. Oh, it's closed now? Has rare and antique books. Good to know. Hey, I think I see Cosmo Scary. What's up, Cosmo? Good to see you. Falcon Space is here. So check out Grace Church. The detail on this thing is amazing. Hey, I see Yogi Bear fan. What's up, Yogi? Long time no see, my friend. Good to see you here. Bailey says, Tom, Scranton, Pennsylvania has a bookstore called BAM. Means Book a Million. I'll probably have to check that out at some point. Falcon Spaces, you love Barnes & Nobles. Yeah, so at that bookstore down in the East Village, I was able to get, and this is a book I would recommend to anybody. It's called Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. And it is the story about Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest traders of all time. War Walkers is hundreds of years old. D. Dirty's is beautiful architecture. Roberts is gorgeous. What's up, Robert? Good to see you. IBM Swan says, hey Tom, why are there so many trash bins in the streets recently? Like these? I think the cities, they're trying to clean up the city. But a lot of people ask about a lot of the trash bags on the sidewalks. And I think it's just because there's nowhere else to put the garbage. But that is a big problem. Melee says you should start a book club. We're thinking about it. So if you look in the link in the description of the video, if you want to sign up for our Discord, sometimes we share books back and forth in the Discord, things like that. Hey, Phil A says, hello from Canada, 31 degrees here with the wind chill. Oh, negative 31 degrees with the wind chill. Jeez, man. Yeah, Phil, I don't think I could do that. That's too crazy. I'm complaining about the snow that we had today. We had a little bit of snow today here in New York. Phil A says, Tom, how far away are you from the World Trade Center? We're pretty far away from it, but I think we'll be able to see it in just a minute here. We're gonna cross the street and go to the one and only Washington Square Park. Hey, Brian says, hey Tom, you should visit the last bookstore in downtown LA when you were in town. Yeah, if we ever get to LA, we'll definitely try to take a visit. That's for sure. So I was actually doing some modeling just for fun. And it's financial modeling, for clarification. And Facebook, even though I don't really like to buy stocks when they're getting hammered, but Facebook or Meta is actually a cheap stock right now. EV to EBITDA, it's about 8 times. Sebastian says, would you come to Port St. Lucie, Florida? Yes. I actually have some plans to go there. But, you know, we've been having a huge washout in the market in a lot of these tech names and a lot of these growth names. And some of the companies that are continuing to grow their earnings, you know, a lot of them are actually reasonably priced. So I think the market is just waiting for the FOMC meeting to hear from our pal at the Federal Reserve. Tom M says Qualcomm raises his dividend by 10% to 75 cents. Good to see you, Tom. So Tom M, what do you think about the split today? The 20-for-1 stock split on Amazon. I can't believe the stock was up on that news too. You got almost $1 trillion company trading like a penny stock. It's crazy times. Hey, Charlie P is here. Melee is here. Good to see everybody. Ruby Fee. Ruby Falcone says, so no posting for the camera, Tom. Nope, only financial modeling. Funky Monkey says, hey, Tom, what's your favorite city outside of New York City? Miami, Florida. Brian, hilarious. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat about Port St. Lucie. Very good. No, photos from around New York. I don't have any insurance on the book. Hey, Jay is here. Says I was watching the Carl Icahn versus Bill Ackman battle against CNBC. Dude, classic. Jay, that is a classic. Yeah, so Jay makes a good point. That was, man, I think that was over, what, 7 years ago now? Maybe even longer. That was the classic Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn battle on CNBC when they were arguing over that, I'm blanking on the company's name, but essentially Ackman put out a big short thesis on the company that he thought to be one of those multi-level pyramid scams. And they would sell... Can anybody help me out with the name? I always forget that name. I think it's like, it's some drink. They solicit drinks via like a pyramids type style scam. Herbalife. No, Cosmonaut Amway, that's another scam. Herbalife. And you know, I actually read Ackman's short thesis, and it was actually pretty compelling because the company solicits mainly in like minority dominated demographic neighborhoods, and the way the business model is set up is actually almost borderline unethical, I think. Yes, Joe, you're right. Herbalife. Yeah, so I believe Carl Icahn had a massive long position in the stock. And Pershing Square, which is Ackman's hedge fund, they were shorting the company, claiming that it was a pyramid scam or whatever. Bottomless coffee, says Tom. Herbalife is overpriced for what it is. Good to see you, Bottomless Coffee. Yeah, War Walker says Mr. Icahn is 86 years young. Hey, Robert Bankers is here. This is top of the evening to everybody. Good to see you. Welcome, Ken Glass says good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, Tom M says big non-event. So now we're on West 4th Street. I want to show you guys some of the buildings down here. Love all of the fire escapes here. Hey, Elias is here. Says hello from the Dominican Republic. Welcome. Good to see you. Hey, the Austin Tennis says, did we walk across the Brooklyn Bridge already? I don't think we're going to be able to do that tonight, the Austin Tennis. But we're streaming a little bit early because I can't stay out too late tonight. I got to wake up rather early. But good to see the Austin Tennis. Austin Tennis is joining us from Toronto, Canada. Former investment banker turned software salesperson. So good to see you, Austin Tennis. We were just talking about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike reported earnings today after the bell. They beat on both the top and the bottom line. So that means CrowdStrike beat analyst expectations on revenue as well as EPS or earnings per share. And they also guided higher. However, I was digging into the earnings report a little bit. There was some slight deceleration, but I think as a company scales and they start to do hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue a quarter, I think some slight deceleration is granted for obvious reasons. Hey, Russ says, I love your walks. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. The Austin Tennis is like, Tom, I'll make sure you don't stay out past your bedtime. Thank you. Rich Gordon says, Tom, be careful. New York City is hell. Crazy people walking and attacking people with hammers, says Rich. Thank you for the well wishes, Rich. I appreciate it. Jonathan Francis, good evening, Tom and all. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Disney says, have you planned to? I do plan on it. I think I want to see London. Want to go to Naples, Italy. See Charlie Richardson's his early stream tonight. What's up, Charlie? Man, it is freezing tonight. Hey, CS is here. This is Good Walk. Good to see you, CS. So we are passing the Stern School of Business here at NYU, which we talk about the Professor DeModeran. He's considered the Dean of Valuation. So if you're interested in learning about securities analysis, this is the place to do it. Also, Professor DeModeran also has a YouTube channel where he uploads a lot of his lectures for free. Funky Monkey says, do you have some investing role models? Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to give you the top 5 investing role models. Probably Peter Lynch. Well, look at this thing. I think that's Google Maps. Oh, guys, this is actually Google's Waymo. So Waymo is owned by Google. This is their autonomous driving unit, and this is actually one of their cars. Let's check it out. I was actually supposed to go to San Antonio to do some work with Waymo, but this is one of their autonomous vehicles. Very cool. So supposedly that car is 100% autonomous. So they're probably doing some testing here in New York. Very cool. Glad we caught that on the stream. Really glad we caught that on the stream. What a find. Great find. But yeah, I would say the investing role models, definitely William J. O'Neill, which is the founder of Investors Business Daily. Number 2 would probably have to be Peter Lynch, which was the former mutual fund manager at Fidelity. And he was in charge of running the very, very famous and profitable Magellan Fund. Then probably Seth Klarman. And Seth Klarman runs a hedge fund still here in New York City. And he's very famous for writing the book, The Margin of Safety. Then I would say Paul Tudor Jones. And number 5, Stanley Druckenmiller. Cosmo Scary says, if a car can drive autonomously in New York, it can drive anywhere. That's true. I agree with that. Cosmo, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen one of those Waymo cars? I think that was the first time I've seen it here in New York. So Waymo is Google's division of the autonomous driving. Very cool to see that on the stream and in person. Yeah, Chris Beeman's like, yeah, I'm glad it stopped at the light. Hey, Lady O says, good evening, Tom. Glad the rain stopped. Yeah, so Lady O, when I was commuting to the city, it was actually snowing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, it's March. It's supposed to be springtime, but it's snowing. Hey, Audie is here. Says that car looks like a rare Jaguar. It does look bizarre, but those are all the sensors for the autonomous vehicles. Very bullish on autonomous driving. Tom M says White House equals no plans to allow the Keystone XL pipeline, despite saying all the options for the oil are off the table. Photos from around New York says Google stock futures went up 100% based on the video. Hilarious. Love that. Yeah, I think they're doing the majority of Google's Waymo testing in Austin, Texas. So really crazy to see it here. Hey, Heather's here. Says we're getting snow on Saturday here in Tennessee. Good to see you, Heather. Welcome. Hey, Falcon Spaces, can't wait for the autonomous cars to take over. Agreed. Photos from around New York says, Tom, around Christmas time, read that Waymo would be doing beta testing Manhattan, South Central Park. Yeah, well, it looks like they're starting, which is great. So we're seeing a lot more Waymo, obviously Waymo as well as Tesla taxis. So this is like NYU's college town. You have a lot of bars, coffee shops, things like that. You know, maybe we'll go this way. I want to show you guys the theater. Wow, photos from around New York. It's like the Waymo app is already available for download. We'll have to check that out. Lady-O, this is Irving Farm Coffee Company. This is a great spot. Lori E, good to see you. Yeah, somebody says the driverless Ubers are next. I think in some parts of Arizona they already have, or I think Domino's Pizza is already deploying driverless pizza delivery cars. Did anybody else hear that? I heard that as well. That Domino's is actually currently in some parts of Arizona, they have driverless pizza delivery cars. So if you look straight ahead, you could actually see the Empire State Building through all the trees here. Lilith says that car didn't even see that bike. I have trust issues with the self-driving cars. I think it'll get better. The more miles the car drives, the more data it collects and the better the performance gets. Jay says, hello, Tom. Interesting day for sure. Glad to see you made it. What's up, Jay? Good to see you. Chris says, Tom, we had a Waymo van with test driver behind the wheel. Playing on her phone and the van ran into a person on a bike. Oof. Definitely not good. Hey, Penelope is here. Says, dang, I just tuned in and had to rewind, Tom. You have an art of saying vehicle. I know. Horrible pronunciation. But good to see you, Penelope. Penelope is joining us from the one and only Tennessee. Yeah, we are streaming a little bit earlier tonight. But Jay, to your point, it was an incredibly volatile day on Wall Street. Really, really volatile day. I think there's also a lot of false optimism with this rally. So across the board with the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the S&P, and all of the growth stocks, we rallied hard. But the volume just wasn't there. So I think that the market still needs to prove itself in order for it to qualify for a follow-through day. So we'll continue to keep our eye on it. Hey, Charlie P is here. Good to see you, Charlie. Hope you're having a good day. A lot of interesting stores here. Soho Ramen. Wow, check that out. You guys see that view of the Empire State Building above all these outdoor dining? Crazy. Hey, Deja Vu says, Tom, since 1999, Amazon scheduled to split for shareholders on June 3rd. Yeah, so Deja Vu, you're 100% right. We briefly covered that as well on tonight's stream. You're 100% right. So Amazon is planning a 20-to-1 stock split, which is kind of crazy. And here's the thing that was even more crazy is the stock, I think, was up 7% on that news alone. And it's crazy when you have $1 trillion company having the volatility after hours on pretty much no news, trading like a penny stock. It's crazy. Gummy Bear says, Tom, can Putin be arrested for war crimes? Will the invasion do anything to communism. So I'm not sure. I think the international community probably will bring him up on war crimes. But then again, I am not an expert in geopolitics. What do you think? Shalom, welcome. Shalom to you too. Atomic Skittles is looking like something from Batman with all the fog near the yellow. Agreed. Great view. Abdullah is here. This is Cool Empire State Building. Good to see you, Abdullah. As always, thanks for joining. Daddy Boggs, the street restaurant seems so dangerous with all the cars. I think they're going to keep them up, mainly because it'll expand the amount of people that are able to be seated. But yeah, Deja Vu, we were also covering CrowdStrike, which is a cybersecurity company that reported after the bell today. They reported better than expected earnings. They beat on both the top and the bottom line. Ticker symbol CRWD. I think the stock popped about 10% after hours. The only negative that I could say about that earnings report was the slight deceleration. But obviously, you know, as a company grows, you're not going to be able to grow revenues at 100% per quarter, you know, if you're doing $100 million in revenue a quarter, right? So I think slight deceleration is noted. Oh, check this out. So this is this guy's front door. How cool is that? So essentially you just walk right in your front door here, and it's like almost like a single family home. That's such a cool setup. That's awesome. And there's your doorbell, everything. That is so cool. Oh, here's another one. Love that setup. Hey, Lilith, is Tom, do you think all the companies sanctioning Russia will make enough pressure on Putin to stop the invasion? I don't think so, because, I mean, if you think about it, what more could we do, right? Russia is pretty much closed off from Western society as it is, even all the way down to fast food retail chains like McDonald's. I think they are stopping all operations in Russia. I think Visa, MasterCard is no longer doing business in Russia. So it's essentially like the Stone Age. So I'm not sure. I mean, if he's not stopping now, you know, what will make him stop? I don't know. Hey, 14 says, thanks for admiring my home. Hey, 14, what's up, man? We actually met, so funny story, we actually met 14, I believe it was last weekend. It was good running into you and good to meet you, man. So thank you for being here. Early stream tonight because I'm going to be traveling tomorrow morning, so there may not be a stream tomorrow, but not really too much of a topic for tonight's stream. Obviously, we talked about the Amazon 20-to-1 stock split, also CrowdStrike reporting earnings, and this big stock market rally across the board. I wouldn't fall for it just yet because the volume was very light across the board on the indices. But good to see you, 14, and thank you for joining. And good to meet you in person. Elliot Wave Review says, hey man, ever thought of doing radio or podcasts? Your voice is money. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Elliot Wave Review. I think, I don't know, I kind of just like live streaming. For some reason, I think a traditional podcast to me may be a little bit boring because I don't really like talking at people. I like talking with people. And that's why I kind of like live streaming, because everybody is in the chat and I could read their comments. Yo, we have Jimmy Anderson here. Good to see you, Jimmy Anderson. Says, hope all is good with you, man. Good to see you live. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy Anderson is the host of the Beer and Bets podcast. CS is early morning myself. Good to see you, CS. Han K says, hey Tom, is it a good idea to buy a stock once it splits, or is it better to wait a few months? Well, here's the thing about a stock split. What a lot of people, well, everybody should realize, a stock split is pretty much irrelevant. It does nothing to change the valuation, right? So, for example, Google, on their last earnings report, I should say Alphabet, on their last earnings report announced a stock split. It doesn't change anything to the valuation. The valuation of the company is the exact same. All they're doing is just, if you do a 2-for-1 stock split, you're going to have the same amount of value in your brokerage account. What is this? It's like an outdoor clubhouse. Obviously, it's an outdoor dining place, but I never saw it with the shower curtains here. But yeah, what I was saying, you're gonna have the same amount of value in your brokerage account, but you're just gonna have more shares. But each share is gonna be at a lower price. But valuation metrics stay the same. But right here is the Empire State Building. So I wouldn't base an investment thesis off of a stock split. I would still continue to look at the fundamental valuation. What is the... I really don't look at price to earnings, but, to a point, if a stock is trading at a crazy multiple, you probably don't want to buy it. But just look at all the traditional valuation metrics. Do your financial modeling as normal. I wouldn't build a thesis off of a stock split. Lady O's like it's Tom's comeback party. Wabi says, do you think Putin's travesty will wreck our economy? I don't think it'll wreck the United States economy. I think I forget the stat. So I was reading an article, I think in Barron's. I actually think I posted it in the Discord. But if we think about all of the companies that make up the S&P 500, Russia, total sales in Russia accounts for 0.1% of all sales in S&P 500 companies. So essentially, if there's no sales activity or no business activity in Russia, that would only knock off about 0.1% of all sales in the S&P 500. So really negligible in terms of the impact to US companies. But look, it's definitely not an ideal situation what's going on at all. But the two drivers of the market is fear and greed, and there's a lot of both out there. Hey, SME Media is here. Says today's gas AAA national average is $4.25. Wow. I would love to learn English and go to Manhattan. More than welcome here. Wabi says, thanks, Tom. I'll check that article out. No problem, Wabi. Chris Beeman says, no, Tom. He'll come back to her party. Hilarious. Hey, Regina says, make it more affordable. Oh, the stock split? Yeah, I guess it, quote unquote, makes it more affordable. But, I mean, if a stock, let's say if a stock is trading at 100 times sales, and the stock splits and the stock is trading at $1 now, it's not, I mean, I guess technically it's more affordable, but it's still an expensive stock in terms of valuation metrics. But yeah, I think Google did the stock split because I think they want to be included in the Dow. Wabi also, if you want to check out the Behind the Street newsletter that I write every single Monday, that is the first link in the description as well, where I briefly wrote about the Russia-Ukraine crisis in terms of commodities prices, like oil and wheat, things like that. Hey, SME Media says, Tom, what date is your 1-year streaming anniversary? So I think I did my first live stream sometime in May, but I believe I created this channel, I think in April? Hey, Juan Rosales says, hi, Tom, my little kid wants to see your face. Well, come up and say hi. What's up, Juan? Good to see you. That is true. I mean, I think after all of these, out of all of these streams, I think I've only showed my face one time. Speaking of Tesla Taxi, here's another one. Love that. Man, we're seeing everything tonight. We're seeing the Google Waymo vehicle, and we're seeing the Tesla taxis. Penelope says, Tom, wiser than his years. I think you are my grandfather. Good to see you, Penelope. Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Hey, Solo401 is here. Says his face is on his Instagram. Yeah, if you want to check out my IG, my face is up on there. Campbell Soup had a good day today. Is this because of fear and rising costs of fuel? Sparks Carnival says, well, I think a lot of stocks technically had a good day today, but the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, One World Trade Center right here, is the declining volume or the lack of volume. So it didn't technically count as a follow-through day. So just be aware of that. JQG Atlas, good to see you, my friend. John is here. Solo, here's your building right in front of us. Like one of my favorite buildings in the city. Jimmy Anderson says, what part of town are you in tonight? We're very close to, here's another Tesla. We're very close to New York University. But right now, I believe this is LaGuardia Place. Chorus, is this COVID going on? I think COVID will always go on. Well, good to see you, Cara. Welcome. Robert, that's funny, man. Hey, Katja says, good evening, everybody. Good evening to you, too. So we are now on West Houston Street. We'll walk down this block a little bit just so you guys can see the World Trade Center. John says, question, why are we really paying more for oil and gas? I think that is a good question in my view. Not to get too political, we were energy independent. We are now no longer. The United States can produce enough oil to easily self-sustain. But John, I'm not sure if you were reading this week's cover story in Barron's, but they actually had a very notable commodities analyst on from Jefferies. I think it was from Jefferies. I forget. I put it in the Behind the Street newsletter. But he said if you look at the lack of oil that the United States is now not buying from Russia, it shouldn't be creating these euphoric spikes in the price of oil. But then again, we'll check out some of the prices here. You know, when everybody gets scared and afraid, that's when you have these sort of parabolic blow-off tops. And I think we're seeing that right now in the price of crude. And the crude oil futures cratered today, fell off a cliff. So this is Sutton Place South. That's actually a nice area. You can get a co-op, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom for $560,000. What do you guys think about that? So check this place out in downtown Brooklyn. Anywhere from a studio to a 3-bedroom, $585,000 to $2.5 million bucks. This 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath is $7.65 million. NPC 007 says supply and demand / green energy wishes political ideology induced inflation. That is true. If you type !power, POWER, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop an amazing Wall Street Journal article that outlines the egregious U.S. power grid and really goes into detail about why it is too soon to sort of turn off the spigot, if you will, on non-renewables. What we need to do is we need to make sure we have the infrastructure in place for renewables before we totally wane ourselves off of crude oil. So exclamation point power, it's a great read out of the Wall Street Journal, phenomenal. I believe it was 2 weeks, 2-week-old article. It was the Saturday cover story. Beyond the Matrix. This is not bad. I'll just pay in Dogecoin. They probably actually do accept Dogecoin. Roberts' speculation determines the price of oil, not supply and demand. I agree with that. I mean, look at the euphoric rise in crude futures this whole past month, and this is what we were talking about. Love these cobblestone streets, by the way. These are so beautiful down here on Wooster Street. All original cobblestone. But if you turn on any sort of mainstream financial channel, the talk of the town is you got to buy energy, XLE, buy the oil companies, oil's going to the moon. And it creates a panic and a fear. And so everybody goes bum rushes to buy it. And this is what creates these parabolic blow-off tops. But it actually creates a lot of the liquidity for a lot of the institutional investors to unwind these positions to the retail speculator. Also, I like a lot of the facades of the buildings here. Yeah, Lady-O's like, definitely not good for skateboarding. The one that got away says, we are funding the war on both sides. Good to see you, the one that got away. JQG Atlas says that's a great area. This is a great area. One of my favorites. Very quiet, good architecture. Yeah, Lilith says they need to renovate and bring the New York City old cobblestones back. The only thing is the bikers, the skateboarders, may be a little bit dangerous. Yeah, Ruby says, I saw an article where residents near cobblestone streets have fallen and getting injured. I think I saw the exact same one as you, which I totally understand. It looks nice, but probably pretty dangerous if you're on a bike or something like that. Robert says, can you skateboard in bike lanes? Yes. So if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. And this is One World Trade Center right in front of us. Hey, Raul M says, hello, Tom. What a phenomenal rally today. It was a pretty good rally, but just watch the volume, because the volume was a little bit lacking today across the board on the major indices. So in my view, it did not qualify as the traditional follow-through day. Hey, our pal Matthew X Black says, love a walk in the cold weather in New York while wearing a French hot perfume. Got it. We here. NPC 007 says, oil is a scare. With super energy, dense and cheap compared to green energy costs per household. Cynthia Beale, good to see you. What's up, Cynthia Beale? Hope you're well. James Brumley, what's going on? Raul M says, do you think the bottom will be made after the Fed meeting? That is a possibility. I think if the Fed follows through and raises interest rates like they should, I think that the markets will actually respond quite positively to an interest rate increase. Because right now the Federal Reserve really doesn't have any credibility. I think a lot of the credibility is lost. Check out this store. This thing is pretty cool. So I think it's very possible to get a follow-through day after the Fed raises rates, if the Fed raises rates. Hey, the investigator is here. Says, good evening, Walks on Wall Street. Legislation is pending in the House and the Senate. It would suspend the federal gas tax for the rest of the year. Good to see the investigator. I think this guy still has his Christmas tree up. Love that. Hey, Stephen L. says, will Manhattan ever be affordable for middle class? I saw a report that says a lot of Russian oligarchs hide their money in shell companies and purchase New York real estate. So Stephen L., that's a great point. That's a great question. And it's also a big problem. And it's actually, now that a lot of this stuff has been debated with Russia and Ukraine, a lot of people are looking into this. And you're right. There's a lot of sort of what they call piggy banks in the sky. So a lot of the apartments on Billionaires Row will be purchased by a lot of foreign money. And oftentimes these sit vacant. And this is just a way for billionaires and multi-millionaires to sort of keep their money safe and sort of keep it out of the country. But I think with this whole situation that's going on, I think there's going to be a big crackdown on it. There was actually a really good article in the New York Post that outlined exactly the addresses of a lot of the Russian oligarchs. But it's not just Russian billionaires. A lot of Chinese, people from the UK as well. But I think you're right. I think the number one place to sort of store money is New York City. And then a close number two would be Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Hey, Rich says, I love Boston. Advised to walk in Boston. We do have to get to Boston very soon. Ruby Falcone says, love the air quotes. Appreciate it, Ruby. Minraj Side says, good evening, bro. How are you? Doing very good, Minraj. Hope you're well. Yeah, Ron TV Metro says also Middle Eastern money as well. So Ron TV Metro, to your point, I believe the most expensive apartment at 432 Park Avenue was bought by a Saudi billionaire, and he's never even been in the apartment. Jay Fox says, Tom, if we don't go back to the office full time, then companies can condense their office space. Could any of that space be converted to residential? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So Jay Fox, it's actually currently happening right now in the financial district. So back in the day, obviously in New York, a lot of the firms on Wall Street, the broker dealers, the securities companies, used to be located obviously right on Wall Street. But, with the rise of algorithmic trading and high frequency trading, there's not really a need for a lot of the security broker dealers to actually physically be on Wall Street, as well as a lot of the investment banks. So you've actually seen a big migration uptown to places like Park Avenue, Times Square, like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I think is one of the only ones down there now. Also, Deutsche Bank is obviously still right on Wall Street. But a lot of the financial firms actually moved uptown, and a lot of the old security broker dealers and the banks are being converted into apartments. So a lot of the big buildings on Wall Street are actually all apartments now. So that is a good point. But the only thing is those apartments are expensive. Those are very, very luxury apartments. Some can go for like $3,000, $4,000 a month. Yeah, Jonathan Francis, a couple hotels have already been converted. Smee Media says, does it seem kind of quiet in New York City tonight? It's not that it's quiet, it's just that we are down in the Soho neighborhood, which tends to be dead after 7 or 8 o'clock. This thing looks pretty cool. Hey, Lori E is here. Lily Ray is here. Good to see you, Lily Ray. The investigators have smashed the like button. I appreciate it. Hey, Dallas is here. What's up, Dallas? Says, hey, Tom, good to see you. War Walker. Hope the weather was good in Miami today. Ooh, this guy's going way too fast. Deja Vu's, the storefronts are so cool. Good to see you, Lily Ray. Hey, Stephanie says, I think the stock Anthem Incorporated is a good stock. I'm not sure what that is, but it's good to see you. You know, I wouldn't mind living down here. I think the Soho guy does live down here. Because these buildings are really cool. You walk in here, all brand new, and you have your own loft right here in Soho. Very cool. So you tend to have your entire floor. And a lot of the buildings have this beautiful brick backsplash here. Wolf Theta says, hey Tom, I'm paying $3,400 a month for a 3-bedroom by Empire State Building area. That's actually extremely cheap. 3-bedroom for $3,400, that's a steal. NM says, looks like the rich in Manhattan and the poor in the rest of the boroughs. Yeah, but I mean, you know, here's the other thing. Brooklyn, New York is, some parts of Brooklyn are actually getting more expensive than Manhattan. Yeah, Matthews is asking why is there so much scaffolding in New York City. I think I've explained it a couple times, but essentially, oh, sorry about that. But essentially the reason why there's so much scaffolding is because if a building like this gets a violation for, like, you know, let's say if a lot of their facade is potentially dangerous to the public, they have two options. They could either, one, spend the money to repair it, or two, put all the scaffolding up and leave it there forever, and then they don't have to fix the problem, right? Because so long as the scaffolding is on the building, it is then deemed safe. So it buys the owners of the building a lot of time to fix it. Hey, Andy S is here. What's up, Andy S? Pixelogics is loving the cobblestones. Matthew Moles is interesting. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Matthew. So everybody, we are now at the one and only So we've been to the one in Miami. We've been to the one near St. Patrick's Cathedral. And now we are here at the one in Soho. So this is the Eden Fine Art Gallery. Time check 8:42. It's pretty early. We usually start streaming at 8:42. JQG Atlases looks so bad. I actually kind of like it. Hey, Yogi Bear fan, thank you for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Mike Bell says, Tom, hot CPI numbers tomorrow. Fuel cost pushes the Fed to raise 50 basis points. Yes, so Mike Bell, you have a point. So what Mike is talking about is on Thursday, which is tomorrow, we have the CPI numbers, which is the Consumer Price Index. A lot of analysts on Wall Street are expecting a big reading out of the CPI. Consensus is for a 7.8% reading, but there's a lot of whisper numbers out there that we could have an 8% CPI. I think this one is my favorite with all the butterflies on it. The Investigator says, no matter what time you're on, I'm here. Appreciate that, The Investigator. Thank you for joining. Michelle Henry says, that's an interesting art gallery. Dallas says, whenever you go to New York City, there's always construction. So I think a lot of the art here is actually by Alec Monopoly. Tony Max 10 says, is Manhattan considered the better part of New York? I mean, I think there's rough areas all over. There's rough neighborhoods in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Queens, in Manhattan, but I think overall New York City is still a safe city. Not headed in the right direction, but I think it will get better. Al Baker says 8% jump. How would that affect the market, or is it baked in? I think everything's pretty much baked in, but I do think if we get a sizable rate hike by the Federal Reserve, I think the market's actually going to react rather favorably. Because right now, the market thinks that the Federal Reserve has no bearing on reality whatsoever. And that's what I think too. So this place is called Dr. Smooth. This place actually looks really cool. I've never been in here. Looks like a pretty cool coffee shop though. James is Harlem. Yeah, I actually used to live in Harlem, not too far away from 125th Street, right where you get the 2 train. I actually enjoyed my time there. Wow, so this is the thing that I love about Soho. Check out this guy's apartment here. You have a whole space. He has beautiful plants. He has a whole fire escape. Floor to ceiling. There's probably like 10-foot ceilings in there. Beautiful. I would love to live in something like that. Sophia says, Tom, do people still sell on the streets of Soho? They do. But mainly during the day. Dallas says, hey Tom, do you live in a high-rise apartment? I used to, but now I don't. Not anymore. Yeah, Robert says Soho Loft. Carter says, what's up Tom? Love Soho. Yeah, I think this is probably one of my goals, is to get an apartment like that. Love those style apartments. Very expensive, but nice nonetheless. Sebastian says, where are you going tomorrow? Can't say, unfortunately, but stay tuned. Soho is really nice to live because usually after 8 o'clock, it is completely dead, meaning there's not a lot of people in Soho, which is good. Very quiet. Yeah, War Walker says, looks like London. Lori E says, I'm definitely a country gal, but these walks make me want to visit New York. Please come. Please visit. Check out this building. I love the black fire escape. Really makes the building pop. So we'll start to walk uptown towards 34th Street. Wow, I'm not sure if you guys could see that, but check this out. Unbelievable apartment with floor to ceiling bookshelf Unreal. I would love to have that apartment. Right in the heart of Soho. Yeah, Jay says, love the cast iron buildings. I do too. Hey, Brenda says, Montreal and New York, very much the same. Lady O says, I love that space. You and me both. Fantastic. Some really, really beautiful apartments here. You could hear the cars going on the cobblestone streets. Ruby Falcone says, absolutely love the high ceilings. Yeah, Soho, you're definitely gonna get high ceilings. So everybody be on the lookout for tomorrow. The CPI numbers are going to be released, which is the Consumer Price Index. The United States has been dealing with extreme inflation, but I do think that the inflation rate is actually a little bit higher. It's probably more along the lines of 16%, but I'll digress on that. I think this is another art studio here, beautiful. But on Friday, we have the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. So watch out for that on Friday by the University of Michigan. Very important piece of economic news. But the number one piece of economic news for tomorrow is that CPI number. I think these people are moving in. My favorite thing about this is the fire escapes. Hey, Kenny says, love Soho so much. Definitely my favorite neighborhood in Manhattan. Agreed. Well, actually, my favorite neighborhood in Manhattan is the Upper West Side. But this is definitely a close number two. Definitely a close number two. Solo 401 is like, go help. Yeah, we'll stream the move-in. Melee says, are there rent control bills? I think there's still some rent control, but definitely not down here, I don't think. Hey, Jay Fox is here. Good to see you, Jay Fox. Michael Cohen says, Tom, those apartments supposed to be cool in the summer. Definitely, this is a great area in the summer. Hey, Blondie1025 says, hi, I am new to your channel. Well, Blondie, welcome to the channel. We go live right about 5 days a week, streaming live from New York City and Miami, and we talk about the economy, the stock market, and really anything. Good coffee shops. So thank you for being here, and we are very happy to have you. Andy S says, where do you park your car? So that's a good question. Looks like a lot of people park it on the street, but there's also a lot of parking garages around here. But if you want to park your car in a parking garage, if you have a monthly pass, it's probably going to cost you over $500. So for me, I don't drive, so I think that's a good thing. It saves me a lot of money. And honestly, I think the public transportation in New York is actually pretty good. Well, let me rephrase that. It's actually very good. But I tend to walk everywhere. When it's nice out, I skateboard everywhere. Dallas says, hey Tom, these buildings seem a lot like San Francisco. I'll have to make my way to San Francisco one time. Hey Tom, AK, good to see you. Cynthia Beal says, Tom, I grew up on the Lower East Side. Soho was a no man's land. The lofts were Cold Water rundown, and artists moved in. They made Soho nice. Yeah, back in the day, these were a completely different neighborhood for sure. Hey, Shop by Scott says, good evening, Tom, and all of the folks in the Walks on Wall Street fam. Good to see you, Scott. Scott is joining us from the 305 in Miami. Good to see you. All right, so I think we're on Green Street, the corner of Green and Prince, I think. Probably should know this since I live here. Let me see. Yes, we are. So this is Green Street. So I do know where I'm going. This is one of the shops here. Hey, Bernard Friedman says, Tom, how are you streaming for 85 minutes already? You usually start around this time. Yes, that is true. So we do have to stream a little bit earlier tonight. So I do apologize for throwing everybody off schedule. But I do have to get up very early tomorrow, so I didn't want to be out too late. So we had to start our stream a little bit earlier. We're good to see you, Bernard Friedman. Hey, Alexander's asking a good question about defense stocks. So personally, I do not own any. Well, I guess that's not entirely true because I do own them via an indice. So in my retirement accounts, I do... What, is this Shopify? Wow, this is Shopify New York. This is crazy. I've never been here. How cool is that? Shopify is a great Canadian e-commerce company. But to get back to your question, I have not purchased any individual sort of defense stocks like the Lockheed Martins, things like that. But they are leaders in the market. I think Northrop Grumman broke to new all-time record highs. This is a very cool place, Shopify New York City. Has anybody ever seen this, Shopify New York City? I'm assuming this is an office and not a retail front. Hey, NMAT is here. Good to see you, NMAT. Hey, my friend Irevis. What's up, Irevis? Says, hey, Tom, did it snow yet? It was snowing all day today, and it finally stopped. Hey, Blondie1025 says, thank you for sharing your neighborhood with us. Thank you, Blondie1025, for being here, and welcome to the channel. Raymond says, I will be going to New York City next month. I'm so excited to be back. Raymond, you're going to love it. You're going to love it, and I think you're coming at a good time, too, because the weather is starting to improve, even though it was snowing today, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is the Shopify place right here in New York City, but it is a Canadian e-commerce giant. Yeah, Bernard Freeman's like, how could it snow in March? Weather is very volatile in New York City in March. It's been 65 degrees, 50, 20, 18, back up to 50, and then it was snowing and icy rain all day today. Okay, we made it West Houston Street and Green. We'll make a right and we'll walk up near the Adidas store. Alexander, speaking of Shopify, do you think Amazon has a viable path forward for physical retail? I think the reason why they're dabbling in it in the first place is more along the lines of those Amazon Go stores. Because if you think about it, think about the business model of like a 7-Eleven or any sort of like gas station convenience store place. All of those jobs, I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of them are going to be automated away. So if you can create and sort of get ahead of that curve and create a hip sort of environment where, you know, all you do is walk in with your phone, you grab what you need and you walk out, and then the bill automatically gets sent to your Amazon Prime account, You know, that's forward looking. And I think in 20 to 30 years, every single convenience store in America is going to look like that. So I think that Amazon wants to be first to market. You know, I think there's actually an Amazon Go store, I want to say right outside of the Empire State Building. Am I right on that, everybody? Is there any New Yorkers here that could back me up on that? At least it used to be there, but there's definitely one on Park Avenue. But there's literally only one employee, and the only employees that work there really to stock the shelves. But there's no cashiers, there's no cash. You walk in, you take what you need, and you literally leave. And everything automatically gets billed to you later. Stephen Ellis says there's one across from Bryant Park. You're right, there is one across from Bryant Park. I think it's near the Chipotle, isn't it? Photos from around New York says, Tom, there's an Amazon Go store on 34th Street. Oh, but you don't know if it's a Go store. Got it. Copy that. Mike Bell says Amazon 20-for-1 stock split. You're right. I think that was the first time Amazon split since 1999. And what's crazy is the stock was up quite a bit on that news, even though it shouldn't be up on that news, because stock splits really don't do anything to change valuation of the company. But the stock was up nonetheless. Stephen L says it's right across the street from the Bryant Park bathrooms. Okay, so right near the SUNY Optometry School. Very cool. AUS Fly Girls says something is comforting about walking New York City. Well, AUS Fly Girl, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So this is a very bougie sort of mattress store, Casper. I never really understood it, but during the day, this place is so packed. Does anybody own any sort of products from Casper, by chance? This place is always packed when I walk past here. Hey, Alexander says, love the Soho action tonight. Appreciate the streaming. Thank you for joining. So Alexander, I'm not sure if you joined. We were briefly covering CrowdStrike. So that's a cybersecurity company. CRWD is the ticker. They did report earnings after the bell. They beat on both the top and the bottom line, and they also raised forward guidance too. I think the stock popped about 10% after hours, but there was some slight deceleration in the sales growth and just a tad bit. Well, actually, I'm not sure about the margin compression. I have to go back and look. But there was slight deceleration, but at scale, I think it's safe to say that it's normal to have some deceleration. Yeah, Lily Race is too expensive. Yeah, Ladios says, Tom, the mattress from Casper is so comfortable. That's what I'm hearing, but I think I was looking at this stuff online and it was like $100 for a pillow. I was like, it's insane. It's sort of like a very upscale mattress place. JQG Atlas is, from what I hear, it's a pretty good mattress store. Very comfortable mattresses. Interesting. Ace Me Media says, Tom, Amazon Go stores, 30 Rockefeller Plaza. So everybody, here's another one of the one of the lofts we were talking about. Check out the height of the ceilings there. Imagine living in there. What would you say? Do you think that's a 20-foot ceiling? No, maybe not. Maybe a little less. What do you guys think? Right above the city MD. That's a massive, that's a really, really high ceilings in there. I think my fingers are too cold. I can't even operate the Zoom anymore. Oop, we got it. $10 foot, 16 foot, easily 12 foot. Copy that. Everybody's saying 14 foot easy. Hey, Brian Brown says, good evening, Tom, from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're on Bond Street, walking uptown. Yeah, the Swan says, Tom, geez, enormous place. Must be 18-foot ceilings. Hey, nice guys here. What's up, nice guy? Good to see ya. Hey, Marty Lewis says, I missed some of this, but did anybody mention that Amazon is planning to close all of its brick and mortar bookstores? I got an email from them today. The news came out a week ago. I did not hear about that, but Marty Lewis, we were actually talking about those Amazon Go stores, which are those convenience stores. But I think that's actually a pretty good decision for them to close the bookstores. I don't think there's really any reason for them to have those Amazon bookstores. But Marty Lewis, thank you for telling us that. I did not hear that news. But some major news out of Amazon today. They're going to do a 20-for-1 stock split, and it's the first time they split since 1999. Hey, Steve Buffalo, what's up? Says, hey everybody, what's going on? What is the topic for tonight? So it was a multifaceted topic because it's going to be a shorter stream than usual. And an earlier stream because I have to wake up. This is where I ate lunch today, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys care about that, but just had to mention that. Good place. Great place. Big rally day on Wall Street, but volume was a little low. So it didn't qualify as a follow-through day. Obviously, NASDAQ took off, S&P took off, Dow Jones took off. But the volume was a little bit low. So this could have been just a short covering rally. But that put to call ratio is getting a little bit extended, which we've talked about a little bit in this week's Behind the Street newsletter. CrowdStrike also reported earnings, which is a cybersecurity company that we've been covering sort of ad nauseum, I'd say, on the channel. Great quarter, beat and raise, beat on both the top and the bottom line, as well as increased forward guidance or raised forward guidance. But good to see you, Steve from Buffalo. John says, what did you have for lunch earlier? So I got like a bowl with brown rice, sweet potatoes, broccoli, and chicken breasts. Very good. Hey, Jessica Santiago's here. What's up, Jessica? Long time no see. Always good to see our pal Jessica here. The Swan says, the streets are getting busy now, Tom. Yeah, so a lot of people, I've been noticing that a lot in the chat. People will say, oh, New York City looks dead tonight. It's not. There's so many different neighborhoods of New York City. And in Soho, you know, after 8 o'clock, there's going to be no people, right? But if you're in Times Square, there's going to be people 24/7. So I think it really just depends on the neighborhood you're in. But as we head towards Midtown, there's going to be a lot more people. Emilio J. MG Reedy says, have COVID restrictions been removed? Yes, they have been removed. I think all of them have. Every single COVID restriction has been removed here in New York. Steve Buffalo says, appreciate the recap. Hope all is well. Yes, Steve, we were walking Soho, checking out the cobblestone streets. Amazing down there tonight. A little bit cold. Yeah, any Miami questions, please feel free to ask our moderator, Shop by Scott. I am still a newbie in Miami. Ruby Falcone. Yeah, that place is good. So Ruby, if you ever come back to New York, I think you were in New York recently, but the place called Dig, D-I-G, is actually really good. Really good spot. The only way I could explain it, it's, I think it's a healthier Chipotle style and they buy the food locally. So a lot of the farms in upstate New York, they'll source those foods locally in New York. Andre says, Tom, Action Kid moved to Miami. Yes, he did. I think he's gonna love it there. Miami's a great city. Big tech city now. As they call it, the 6th borough of New York. A lot of New Yorkers there. Cynthia Beal says, Dig In. Yeah, so it was called Dig In, but they actually changed the name to just Dig. But yeah, I remember 2 years back or 3 years back when that place just opened, they actually used to give out these little tokens for like free food. Does anybody remember that? Marty Lewis's medical offices still require masks. Broadway audiences still have to wear masks. The public transportation too. Yeah, public transportation I think everywhere in the country pretty much. But you're right. But for me, really the only COVID restrictions like that I not really had to worry about is just like the vaccination passport in the restaurant. You just have to show them the vaccine card, but that's all over with now. So everything is pretty much back to normal. Yeah, Lady O says, love Dig In when you worked in the city. Lady O, remember those little tokens they used to give out like 2 or 3 years ago? Those little wood tokens. Ooh, photos from around New York says Sweet Green versus Dig. Dig 100%. Sweet Green is horrible, in my opinion. But I'm not a big salad guy. Not a big salad fan. So here we are at Astor Place. You can get the 6 train. Uptown. Hey, Matthew G. This is good evening, Tom. Matt and Lizzie checking in again. Good to see you, Matt. Hope you're well. So, Matt, we had to start the stream a little bit earlier tonight because I do have to wake up early for some travel. So right here, this actually used to be, I was actually just about to say H Mart. It definitely was not an H Mart. Kmart used to be right in here. But now a very good grocery store, Wegmans, is going to be going in here. We'll check it out. I'm not sure when. Maybe it'll tell us on the sign. 2023. Not bad. Wegmans 2023. Super excited for that. Hey, Tammy is here. Says, hey, what's up, Tammy? Good to see you, Tammy. Yeah, 007 says can't fill up on a salad. Agreed.
I said, I called.
Lady O says Wegmans is my favorite supermarket. I think there's a lot of Wegmans in New Jersey, isn't there? New Jersey and also upstate as you move upstate New York. Hey, the Mighty Bull says, hi Tom, rock and roll. What's up, Mighty Bull? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Frank Gonzalez says hundreds of outdoor dining places getting removed With restrictions getting lifted, Tom, what's your take? I actually kind of like the outdoor dining setups. I didn't hear that they're going to lift them. Or I didn't hear that they're going to remove them. It's interesting. Good to see you, Frank. Gonna head uptown. Hey, Minkies, is it cold enough for a winter jacket? That it is. It was snowing earlier today. I have my winter jacket on. I'm freezing. Chadwick says, Tom, Wegmans is headquartered in Rochester, New York. Yeah, Rochester is in upstate New York. I think it goes Rochester, and then what, Cortland, I think? Or Binghamton? Something like that. Brenda says, Tom, are you a fan of soups? Sometimes. I would say about, well, then again, I did go to a dim sum place today, which was very good. I'll actually take you to the place where I had dim sum for dinner. Dig for lunch, dim sum for dinner. That sounds like a New York kind of day. Love this church, Grace Church. Unbelievable architecture here. Hey, Brad, as I was watching some videos about New York City and people are moving out of the city due to crime, on how the city doesn't support small businesses. Yeah, I think there is some truth to that, but I think that we do have a new mayor, Eric Adams, and I'm optimistic. I think he will change things around. You know, that was one of the reasons why I moved out of New York City as well. This is a business decision, a personal business decision. But look, and it was a tough choice because I'd much rather do all my business here. Way rather do that. You know, my family's here, my friends are here. But, you know, at the end of the day, if the taxes keep going up and the services that I'm receiving as a citizen are not going up, the quality of life is going down, well, you know, then I have to make a move. But I would never leave New York City 100%. What I'm doing now is splitting my time about 50-50 between Miami and New York City, mainly out of a pure business decision, but I'd much rather do all my business here. I still think New York City is the greatest city in the world. I don't think any sort of derelict politician can change that. So here we got the Strand, once again, everybody. East 12th Street, Broadway. Hey, a Colt says, hey, good vibes from Tijuana. Love Tijuana. NMB 045 says, you did well to move, Tom. Imagine immigrants like my parents crossing an entire ocean with so much culture shock. Agreed. Good to see you, NMB 045 from Montreal. Off the Hook says New York City is the greatest city. Agreed. Well, then again, Miami, Florida, you guys got to understand, the reason why I chose Miami, Florida, as opposed to Denver, you know, I was looking into Denver really, really hard. Denver, Colorado, I was looking into Austin, Texas, I was looking into LA. But the reason why I chose Miami over all those places, obviously, number one, I'm in the tech sector. So I'm in enterprise tech sales. So I sell different software and hardware products to major Fortune 500 companies and healthcare companies. And the tech sector is really growing there. So I think as a talent pool, it's going to be easier to hire people down there. Also, Miami's nickname is the 6th borough of New York City. So there's a ton of New Yorkers down there. So it's not like a foreign place. A lot of New Yorkers spend a lot of their time in Florida, especially in Miami. And it was easiest for travel and the cheapest for travel. Just to give you an idea, I spend about $50, if that, every time I fly from Fort Lauderdale or Miami to JFK. And it's only 2.5 hours. That's like sitting in traffic on the BQE. Hey, John Connor is here. Good to see you, John. The RT440 says New York City is the best. A lot of people are saying Paris is number one. I've never been to Paris. Hey, the Mighty Bull. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Says no bulls lately. Maybe we'll take a stop into the one and only Grand Central Terminal tonight. But thank you, Mighty Bull. Appreciate it very, very much. Somebody says, what airline? I usually either fly American or Delta. American Airlines or Delta. Yeah, photos from around New York is like, or traffic on the Van Wyck. Yeah. True. Dave Moore says, I missed it. Are you moving to Florida? I moved to Florida like 4 months ago now. I can't believe it's already been 4 months. It's insane. Wow. It has been 4 months. Time flies. But yeah, I'm going to be spending 50% of my time in New York, 50% of my time in Miami, Florida. Hey, Kesha Love says hello from Toronto. A lot of viewers from Toronto. Welcome to all of our Canadians, our good neighbors to the north. Good to see you. So check that out. This is Union Square Park. And we are looking at the Empire State Building. Great view. Dave Moore, good to see you, and thank you for joining the stream once again. Tom AK says $50 airfare. Yes. If you go to kayak.com, very, very affordable. ADY says, Tom, London is the best city on earth. I gotta get to Europe. Warwalker. NPC 007 says Miami is the new San Francisco. Yeah, I don't know about that. I was also thinking about San Francisco, but a lot of my buddies who work at Salesforce, they love San Francisco, but they just don't like the direction that the city of San Francisco is turning. Just sort of, you know, how I have my qualms, I guess you could say, about New York. But look, the good news is we just got a new mayor. We got to give the guy a shot. And maybe he's going to clean everything up. The thing is, you know, looking long term, you got to diversify yourself. I think if you have all your net worth tied up in one city and all of your resources and all of your network tied up in one city, I think it could be a little bit risky. So I think, you know, doing business in Florida, doing business in Miami will allow me to meet new people I would have never met in New York, while maintaining those relationships in New York. So I think it's all about, I think, number one, networking with new, smart people. And, you know, maybe in another 5 years, I'll add another city. And it'll probably be, I'm really liking Denver. Really liking Denver. But the only thing about Denver, it's a pain to travel. Travel is horrible. NPC, It says London has the crabbiest people on earth. Is that true? Is that true? I'm not sure about that. The Austin tennis is like, I could see Tom in Boise. Austin tennis, what do you think about Toronto? Do you think I could do good in Toronto? Hey, Gregory's here. What's up, Gregory? Says, yeah, Denver is really spread out. Yeah, that's one of the things that I didn't like about it. I want to be in at least somewhat of a walkable city. Obviously, New York City, you know, totally walkable. Miami, in my opinion, very walkable. Yeah, the Austin tennis is like, Tom, the housing market in Toronto is crazy. It seems like the housing market everywhere is crazy. I think about 2 months ago on the stream, we were talking about how the median rental price in New York City reached a new all-time record high, $3,400. Crazy. Somebody says, what about Boston? No. Boston is just like the same thing as New York City, but colder and more gloomy. Weather was another big factor. My brother lives in Boston, so if I want to go to Boston, I could just stay at his place. War Walker says Daytona Beach is walkable. I'll have to check it out. The Mighty Bull is listening. Good to see you. Metcalf says, Tom, do you drive in Miami? I don't, and I've actually never had a problem with it. The bus is great. I take the train, the Metro Mover. It's really good. The investigator says, Tom, crime is out of control in Denver and very expensive. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I was introduced to Denver is because I was doing an interview process with a big cybersecurity company called Ping Identity, P-I-N-G Identity. And they are based out of Denver. And they were brought public by Vista Equity Partners. Hey, Gary says, g'day, Tom. Had enough of the sunshine in Miami? No, I have not. I hope to be back. I hope to be back there very soon, because today was snowing in New York. So hopefully I'll be back there very soon. But good to see you here on the stream. Well, at least we did have a couple nice days in New York. I think we had one day of 65 degrees, which was nice. Hey, Wendy says, come to Vancouver. You know, I would like to go to Vancouver to visit. I'm not sure about living, but I would like to visit. But I think my first stop in Canada will probably be to Toronto. So everybody coming up here, you're gonna see an unreal view of the Empire State Building. Phenomenal. But everybody, if you're enjoying the stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video. Also, if you want to connect with us on Twitter, sometimes I post a lot of my thoughts throughout the day on the markets on Twitter. You could follow us at Walks Wall Street as we are passing East 20th Street. We're going to see an amazing view of the Empire State Building, as well as this beautiful dog. Beautiful dog here. Wow, look at the coat on that thing. That is an absolutely beautiful dog. Look at that. Does anybody know what sort of breed that was? I'm not sure if you guys could see it on the stream, but the coat on that dog was so white. That was like the whitest fur coat I've ever seen on a dog. Yeah, GGNYC is so clean. That thing was awesome looking. Wendy says it was a Labradoodle. Got it. The Swan says Labradoodle. Okay, copy that. Yeah, I have a Beagle myself, but that dog was very nice. Hey, the Great Mystery says greetings from Calgary. Looks like all of Canada is represented here. Yeah, I mean, we're very popular in Canada. I love Canada. We have Mark Davis, which is one of our great pals. Hey, Warwalker, my friend from Miami, thank you so much for the $10 donation to our pal Warwalker. Much appreciate you, Warwalker, and hopefully we'll see you soon as we are back in the 305. Thank you, Warwalker, as always, for the support. Yeah, Alan Wilson was like, the dog just got a fresh bleach job.
Oh my god.
Somebody says it could be a golden doodle as well. Hey, Melees, we love Canada, Toronto, and everybody. Hands TV says, I am Haitian. Good to see ya. Welcome to all of our viewers from Haiti. The neighborhood that I moved into in Miami has a big Haitian population. And when I moved in, a lot of the neighbors came over to my house and gave me so much Haitian food. I had so much food, I didn't even know what to do with it. So kind, so nice. Elvin says, where are you? Right now we are 23rd Street near the Flatiron Building, headed uptown near Madison Square Park. Warwalker, yes I did. So this is one of my favorite shots in New York. You have the Empire State Building right here, but at the bottom right, you have the very, very top of the Chrysler Building here too. Hey, Hands TV says thanks to make the views in New York City. Thank you. Boklo, good to see ya. Hands TV, Wasabi King, good to see ya. Evelyn, Cosmo is Scary. Brenda says Golden Labrador Retriever, good to see you, Brenda. Good to see you. Rasol says we love USA, thank you for being here. Yeah, Dave says summers down there are beautiful. Hey, Gary Ting says you should watch the TV show Startup, based in Miami. I'll check it out. Let me take a screenshot of that. Hey, Carol Williams says good night from Antigua and Barbuda. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So right to the left is a great Italian spot. I think it's just a tad bit overrated, but it is a good spot. I always go in there. I think Lady O says she goes in here a lot too, which is Italy. Very famous, like, Italian grocery store. Also has a restaurant in here too. Very good place. Yeah, Webley Coffee Spill is here again. Good to see you, Webley. Welcome. We are outside of Italy once again. Hey, amazing air show videos. Imagine if everybody inside all those high-rise apartments buildings come out all at once. So I actually did see that happen one time. I think this was about 3 years ago. I was working late on a Saturday, surprisingly. And there was a massive blackout. I think this was the first time New York City had a blackout in a long time. And I was working on 45th Street and 6th Avenue. It was a Saturday. I was just about to get into the elevator and boom, the whole thing goes out. I was like, what in the heck is going on? So I come down from my office and the streets are packed with people. And so I walk up all the way to Carnegie Hall. I'm not sure if you know where that is. But at the time, there was a major thing. I always do this. I always walk in the bike lane. I'm a horrible, horrible person. Never do that. So there was a big concert going on at Carnegie Hall. And what they did is they moved the concert to the street. And everybody was playing their instruments in the street. It was the most crazy thing I've ever seen. I got to find the video. And I'll post it to either my Twitter or my IG. Yeah, Marty Lewis, I remember that blackout. It was September. Was it September? It must have been early September 2019 because I remember it was hot. It was hot outside. But yeah, Carnegie Hall, there was a massive performance going on and everybody just started playing in the street. But then again, it wasn't a full-on blackout. I think it was the west side. Anything from 34th Street all the way up to 96th on the west side, it was totally out. But the east side, I think, was still lit up. Ah, you're right. Marty Lewis, July 2019, that's what it was. Yeah, that's when I used to pull crazy hours at the office. I used to work non-stop. NMB 045 is, oh my God, I worked late. Once on a Saturday night too. That's my first and last time. Just awful. I was all alone at the office, not creepy being at the office alone. Yeah, I used to do that a lot when I was first out of college. I always wanted to stand out. I was putting in ridiculous hours. I'm glad I did it though. I think it was worth it, but yeah, Brian's like, Tom, you gotta have work-life balance. Agreed. Yeah, Gigi NYC says, oh my God, I remember that. That was a crazy time. Marty Lewis says, Tom, the blackout started while I was walking home from the health club. There was no power in my apartment for about 4 or 5 hours. I'm so glad I didn't go in the elevator. Literally, I was about to go in the elevator and then boom, everything totally black. Couldn't see anything. But then again, it was a fun time. That was a fun time. So that's my action item for the night. You guys got to remind me in the Discord to find that video from the summer of 2019. It's like a 3-minute video I took of all of the of everybody outside Carnegie Hall on 57th Street playing their instruments outside. There was thousands of people in the street. I'm gonna find it and I'll post it on YouTube, I promise. Well, maybe I won't post it on YouTube. I'll post it on Twitter or my IG or something like that. Hey, Patty Benty is here. Says, hey, Tom. What's up, Patty? Good to see you as always. Smee Media. Good to see you. Gary says, haha, those days, late nights where the janitors go home before you. Rick says, the city looks a little quiet tonight. Well, it's very cold out. That's the only downside. And it was actually snowing. Mix of snow, rain, and ice most of the day. Hey, Wendy says, I miss New York City. I need to go back. Please come back. Hey, Daryl is joining us from Chicago. Good to see you, Daryl. Daryl, I may be in Chicago this summer. I will keep you posted. Yeah, Alan Wilson. It's like instead of working late nights at the office, you're now walking around the city. Very true. Shop by Scott says Yaletown in downtown Vancouver is the greatest. Hey, Alex Boosted says, Tom, I'm in Connecticut, not too far away. So supposedly Connecticut has the best pizza, from what I'm hearing. Is that true or is that big fake news? A lot of my friends actually have moved to Connecticut during the pandemic, and they've been telling me that the pizza is the best. Off the Hooks is heck no. I'm not sure, I've never been. Webley coffee spill. It's like blasphemy. Hey, Bed-Stuy Brooklyn is here. Good to see you, Bed-Stuy Brooklyn. Good evening. Says greetings. Walks from Wall Street chat. Love Chicago. Yeah, I've never been, and I definitely want to check it out. I may have to be there on some business this summer, but I will keep you posted on that. Hey, we have Paranormal Witness Girl here from Florida. Good to see you. We're walking up Broadway tonight past West 29th. And we have a great view of the Empire State Building here. Hey, Comic-Con Hunters says, I live in Connecticut. I could say without reservation that the pizza sucks, especially Mystic Pizza. Yeah, I don't know. My buddies are telling me that it's great. I don't know why. But then again, it could be all nonsense. Guess we'll have to find out. So maybe we'll do, you know what? We won't do a lap around Koreatown tonight. Let's try to at least advance past 34th Street, because very seldom have we gone past 34th Street due to the internet issues. But I think there may be another internet issue tonight. I was doing some speed tests during work, and I think there was a dead spot there. Hey, Paul Spencer says, hey Tom, I read that in the Fort Lauderdale newspaper that Fort Lauderdale was #1 state for business information in 2021. Interesting. Wendy says, nice shots. Good to see you, Wendy. So everybody, get ready for tomorrow, because we do have the CPI numbers coming out, the Consumer Price Index. Many economists on Wall Street are expecting a 7.8% reading, but there are some whisper numbers for an 8% reading, which I think is very possible. We'll see. And then on Friday, we are having the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Lewis, yeah, so the links don't work. If you look in the description of the video, all of those links work. Off the Hook, if you want a more in-depth description of it, check out the Behind the Street newsletter that I sent everybody on Monday. If you haven't received that, please check your spam folder. But if you want to read the free financial newsletter that I write every Monday for everybody, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where you can sign up to receive it via email for free every Saturday. All right, so let's see if... Hey, Liquid Nate is here. What's up, Nate? Good to see you, Liquid Nate. Hope you're well. So let's see if we go into a dead spot here. So we will be on buffer watch. I think they're doing something with the carrier aggregation. I believe they're turning down a lot of the CDMA networks and getting ready for the 5G rollout. Jay says, get the newsletter. It's good. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. And thanks everybody for reading. We have 650 people that are readers of the newsletter. Fantastic. Appreciate it, everybody. If I had unlimited funds, what would be the one investment I wouldn't miss right now? Well, if I had unlimited funds, unlimited funds, I'd probably just spend the rest of my life doing like charity work. But if I had unlimited funds and I'm like looking for one specific investment, I would probably buy up a lot of the land around a lot of the freshwater supply sources in America. And I would invest into a lot of companies that are working on water purification processes. But those would be like more private investments, not public stocks. I'd probably hire a bunch of smart people from the best universities and launch a fund working on that. So I think this is the dead spot. So let me know if we go out on the dead spot here. Cosmo Scary says, would you still stream if you had unlimited funds? Yes. If I had unlimited funds. Yeah, I would probably increase the amount of time I would stream if I had unlimited funds. But that's why we stream so late. I always get so many emails about people saying, I want to see what New York City looks like during the day. But I'm like, I can't stream during the day. I'm working, you know? John says, no dead spot, please. So supposedly it's looking pretty good. We are right outside 34th Street, the Macy's, Herald Square. Hey, Satish is here. What's up, Satish? Hey, Eyeglass Lady says, good evening, everybody. Missed the time here. All is well, Eyeglass Lady. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good week so far. I think the network is good. Ruby Falcone says, Tom, you would get a spare phone battery to stream longer. That is true. Christopher says, do you ever think the channel will become so big that it'll be your full-time job? I don't really want this to be I'm trying to grow my company. My goal is to build my company where I could at least hire, 50 true salespeople and build out like a very big MSP in America, or a managed service provider. That's sort of what I want to do. But I think for the newsletter, maybe if the newsletter gets big enough, we could run some advertising. So the goal with the Behind the Street newsletter is I want to have one newsletter a week where we focus on, the equity research, the stock market, a look ahead. But then pretty soon, I think once we pass about 1,000 readers, What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not hire, but I'm gonna get one of my good buddies who works in investment banking to write a weekly newsletter about how to get a career in investment banking, the steps necessary to, if you want to work at the investment bank, or exit opportunities. So like a very investment banking focused newsletter in terms of career advancement. And then I'm gonna get one of my good friends that is an account executive or an enterprise account executive at a major software company to write a newsletter on, what is the process like getting a job, selling SaaS or selling tech? What is the career advancement looking like? And just sort of tips and tricks and things like that. What classes should you take in college? What universities should you go to? So that is sort of the vision with that. But maybe. And also just to be a better writer, perhaps. So we'll see. Dwart 55's live stream for a career? No, probably not. I don't want to do that. Yeah, Eyeglass Lady says here you said it was snowing in New York. It was snowing in New York for a little bit. Hey Melee, good to see you. Hope you're well. So we'll walk up Broadway. Actually, we'll walk up 6th Avenue. Hopefully we can make it to Bryant Park again. Hey Jim, says Tom, thank you for taking us on these walks with you. Good to see you, Tom. Or Jim, good to see you, Jim. Kirby says Mother Nature has your back. It will be daylight longer. Rick, no ideas on that, but there has been speculation on that. Paranormal Witness Girl says yes, we're going to Bryant Park. Yeah, we're about to pass the Bank of China, and as we talked about, I think we covered this a little bit on last night's stream, but the Chinese commercial paper market is really concerning me. I think if there was ever one big black swan event, I think it would happen in the Chinese commercial paper market, because it does not look good. Let's just say that. Hey, Long Island Duck, good to see you, my friend. Marjan says, good evening, Skate Bro and everybody. Good to see you, Marjan Worldwide. Hope you're having a good day. Doc says, you should have walked down Broadway. I kind of like 6th Avenue better. I used to work on 6th Avenue. Melee says China will probably invade Taiwan. I don't think so. But then again, I was wrong about the Russia-Ukraine situation, but I don't know. I think it's very unlikely that China invades Taiwan. I think that would be very unlikely. Hey, RJ is here. What's up, RJ? This is Hola, Tom from Colorado. Back from dealing with the snow. Good to see you, RJ. Welcome. So now we're on West 38th Street, headed uptown. Elle says, have you ever been to Australia or the UK? Neither of which, but I am planning on going there. Amelia J says, Tom, what would happen if that market collapses? Do we all get out of... Well, the Chinese commercial paper market, I would just do a quick Google search and maybe read one or two of the top articles that come up there. But I also wrote about it I think 2 weeks ago in the Behind the Street newsletter. But obviously during the 2020 COVID crash, the commercial paper markets all over froze up, right? Totally frozen. And that's why we had to have global central banks come in there, inject liquidity. But look at the Chinese commercial paper market now. It's actually trading lower than it was in 2020. And could this be because of the Evergrande situation and things like that? Maybe, but the market's not really reacting to it, which is strange. And the only reason why I think that, and again, I don't know. I don't think anybody does, but I think the market has confidence in the People's Bank of China to just bail it out and to make it a government entity, make everything or backstop everything by the government. I don't know. Good evening, everybody from Ireland. Welcome. So here we have the One Vanderbilt here. Go Hard Brothers says, I recommend the work and holiday visa since you're under 30 for Australia. I spent a year there. I'll have to look into that. Hey, Rock Miller says, greetings from Detroit. Good to see you, Rock Miller. So now we are passing 40th Street. And we're going to pass the Salesforce Tower, which is a major software company that specializes in CRM software, or customer relationship management. So here we have Bryant Park. Jay Fox says, some of the Chinese companies are now offering services in Russia to fill the voids left by Western companies that are leaving. Interesting, Jay Fox. Missy says, good evening, all in the chat. The views look beautiful. Good to see you, Missy. Mimi is the same as Deutsche Bank. No one was talking about it. Yeah, so Deutsche Bank has really egregious derivative exposure. Very toxic book of toxic derivatives. The Swans. Tom, love the Empire State Building. Looks fabulous. Good to see you, Swan. So this is Salesforce Tower on the left. And then right in front of us is the Bank of America Tower. Could we get a quick time check in the chat? I just want to make sure I am right on time. I'm gonna make my train. British Grey. This is 9:56. Thank you, British Grey. Hey, Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina is here. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, my friend. We are right outside of the Salesforce Tower here. Hey, Stephanie says, thank you from Quebec. Good to see everybody from Quebec. Hey, Mimi says, by the way, I use Salesforce at work. Great tool, creating reports and dashboards. Agreed. Yeah, I've used Salesforce. I think it's a great CRM. A little bit expensive. That's why I think for a lot of the SMB market, you're seeing a lot of the newer players like Zoho. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat here uses Zoho. What is the main CRM everybody uses in the chat? Hey, WW is here. What's up, WW? Good to see you. Jack says CRM with a POS. Yeah, I think Salesforce is, I think a lot of salespeople in the chat may not appreciate Salesforce, the constant pestering by our managers to update Salesforce. Rick's is Salesforce the same as Zoho? It's not the same. They're different companies, but Zoho does similar things. Hey, Lynn says, I do use Zoho. Very cool. Well, in Jamaica, very nice. Paranormal Witness Girl, I do use Clear. I do use Clear. Twisted BTW. So I'm not sure if you've already been there, but you should live stream a walk on Roosevelt Island, great views in New York City and Long Island City. We will definitely do that once the weather gets nicer in the summer, 100%. Rick's Zoho has more bells and whistles. Yeah, Mimi, you're right. Salesforce did acquire them. And they also just closed an acquisition of Slack, which was a publicly traded company under the ticker symbol WORK, or work. You know, I remember back in the day before that acquisition, a lot of people thought Atlassian was going to acquire Slack. And Atlassian is an Australian-based software company. I believe the CEO is Michael Cannon-Brooks. Very good company. I think their two main products are Jira and Confluence. Hey, Techno Pink is here. What's up, Techno Pink? Good to see you, my friend. Jane Doe says, can you walk Rikers Island next? I just got out of Rikers 2 days ago, so you just missed that stream. We did that on Sunday night. So you're going to have to go back 2 videos to see when I get released from Rikers. Ruby says, have a good night, Tom, and safe travels. Thank you so much, Ruby, for joining. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, Lewis, I think that's a good point. Lewis says, do you think Block/Square will acquire or merge with PayPal? I don't know. I don't know if it'd be a good idea, but that's an interesting thought, actually. Really interesting. Techno Pink says, I'm great, bro. How are you? Good to see you, Techno Pink. Techno Pink is joining us from the Dominican Republic. It's always good to see you, Techno Pink. Yeah, Techno Pink says, take care with all the ice. Yeah, well, it was crazy, the weather today in New York. It was snowing, raining. But supposedly tomorrow will be a better day. So this is West 44th Street. On 45th Street, this is where D.E. Shaw, or David E. Shaw & Co. is, which is a quantitative based hedge fund. And it's actually where Jeff Bezos used to work as an analyst before he started Amazon. I used to work in the same building as D.E. Shaw, right here in the Marsh and McLennan building. Hey, Sparks says, JP Morgan recently became the first bank in the metaverse. Is it too early to invest in the metaverse? Well, I think the metaverse now is more along the lines of like a buzzword, a marketing tool. But I think as the years go on, I think there'll be more developers that start to build more useful things. But we were talking about Meta or Facebook the other day. And, well, actually earlier in the stream, the stock's actually becoming relatively cheap. It's actually a cheap stock. 0 debt. Facebook has no debt. In relation, you know, it's EBITDA. Lemoncello says, hello from Michigan. Welcome to all of our viewers in Michigan. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Steph says, good to see you. Hey, Gummy Bear, what's up? This is Tom. Is the Bronx Zoo any good? I've been there a couple times. Not a big zoo guy. Not a big fan of the zoo. Lewis says, can Tesla be worth 1 trillion, like legit, by 2025? It was already, I think it already, at a brief point in time, passed the $1 trillion market cap. Off the hook says, would you get off Facebook? I think the only reason why I won't buy Facebook is I just don't use Facebook. So I have a hard time investing in a company if I don't really use their products. Yeah, Mimi says Zoom has security issues. Many people are now migrating to Microsoft Teams. So that's what I use. I use Microsoft Teams, but throughout the day, depending on which business I'm working with, I use so many. I think even Uber now has sort of like a meeting platform. But the main ones I use is like Cisco WebEx. Does anybody in the chat use Cisco WebEx? I use Cisco WebEx, which is probably my least favorite, but Microsoft Teams I definitely use. Hey, the Austin Tennis is Tom. What is your favorite Korean dish besides the ever popular pork bone soup? So I don't know exactly what the names of the dishes are, which is probably gonna get me in trouble. But I do like, as like a side dish, the kimchi jjigae, which is the kimchi soup. Very good. Yeah, Bottomless Coffee says Ring Central is another one. Yeah, so Ring Central is like a UCaaS company, so Unified Communications as a Service. So Ring Central, ticker symbol RNG. I think Ring Central is a competitor of 8x8. So 8x8 is another UCaaS company, or Unified Communications as a Service. Hey, Jay Spence is here. What's up, Jay? Kirby says I use Cisco Teams and GoToMeeting. I think I've used GoToMeeting too. I think the least one I use is Zoom. Austin Tennis says you like Slack. Yeah, Austin Tennis is a former investment banker turned software salesperson. Works at PagerDuty. PagerDuty is a great company, ticker symbol PD. I forgot to ask you, Austin Tennis, when you signed on with PagerDuty, did you get any stock offerings or anything? Wow, look at all these police cars here. Hey, Soho guy says, hey Tom, what's up Soho? Good to see you. That guy's from Canada, I could tell by his accent. Love the Canadian accent. Lewis says there are only Frank Gonzalez is here at IBM. We use WebEx. So I guess we'll check out the NASDAQ. Hey, Techno Pink, here's your company right here. Here's your office. EY. So this is where our pal Techno Pink works, EY. Great company. Hey, Jay says hi, Tom. Good to see you, Jay. The Austin Tennis is, yep, I have RSUs. On that note, everybody in the chat, go buy PagerDuty. I'll have to move some size into PagerDuty tomorrow. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that, SEC. Well, that's good, Austin Tennis. I'm happy to hear that, man. Warwalker's like, Tom, ditch all the drugs. Stat, no drugs. No drugs. So this is where they dropped the ball. Gummy Bear says, how bad is the heat in Miami? So for me, it's not bad because I really like it hot and humid. I'm kind of weird like that, to be honest. Hey, Vinny Castellano. I would say probably Peter Lynch, perhaps. I'd say Peter Lynch. Crystal says, I wonder how much advertising space costs in Times Square. That's a good question. I'm not too sure. Li Duck 52 says something like it hot. Yeah, and I'm used to the humidity. Man, another Tesla taxi. Love those. You know, being from Long Island, South Shore Long Island in the summer is crazy humid. So I'm not, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I like it hot, humid. Steph says, Tom, ever eaten Washington Heights? Yes. There's some good places in Washington Heights. Hey, Linda says, came here to escape the world news and politics. Thank you for the walks around the city. I will never get to visit. Thank you for... thank you from the 74-year-old grandmother. Well, thank you for watching. We're very, very happy to have you here. And hopefully we see you on a live stream very, very soon. Yeah, Cliff says, I think I'll take a hot, humid day over a cold day any day. Agreed. The Austin Tennis is, we're waiting for a Walks in Wall Street billboard, Times Square. So here we have the NASDAQ. This is where they shoot many of the CNBC shows like Squawk Box. And I think for a brief time, Investors Business Daily actually had a TV studio right in here. So this is the Squawk Box TV studio here at Times Square in the NASDAQ. Hey, XXX. This is good night, folks. Good to see you, XXX. Thank you for joining the stream tonight. Hey, Sean Brown. Thank you so much for the $2 donation, Sean. Appreciate you. Oh my God, we've almost been streaming for 3 hours. Crazy. So we're gonna head back to the Moynihan train station. I did not anticipate another 3-hour stream, my God. But thank you everybody for joining. I will take you back to the Moynihan train station, but if you did like the stream tonight, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new for more live streams. NMB 045 says the Bloomberg Tower is probably more modern and ergonomic than CNBC's. Yeah, we used to stream by there all the time. That is on the east side. Can we get a quick time check in the chat? I just want to keep tabs on the time. I appreciate everybody. Hey, Zoe Galaxy says, thank you, Tom. Steph says, thank you, Tom. I always smash the like button. Appreciate you, Steph. Okay, now this is 41st Street and Broadway, headed southbound by the Paris Baguette. This is actually a Korean place. Did anybody know that? This is actually a Korean-owned bakery, Paris Baguette. It is not French. Hey, Wanye Cass says, thanks for streaming tonight. Thank you so much. Comic-Con Hunter says, I thought you typically walk and talk for 3 hours each night. We do. But tonight I needed to only stream for about an hour because I needed to wake up very early in the morning Usually the 1 hour streams turn into the 3 hour streams. Hey Missy, thank you for joining, appreciate it. Hey, Miss Bash is here. Says, hey Tom, what's up, Miss Bash? Long time no see, good to see you. Lady O's, it's time to head back to Moynihan. We are on our way. We'll probably be there in 10 minutes. I think we can make it in record time. I like how they closed off this entire street. So this is all pedestrians now, which is great. In the summer, this place is gonna be great, fantastic. Hey, Marvin Lopez says, hey Tom, what's up, Marvin? Good to see you. Two Wheel Pines, my friend, good to see you. Go Hard Brothers says, you should buy food and drinks during the live stream, next live stream. We may have to, I should bring a bottle of water. Lou Rodriguez, my friend, thank you so much. John, as always, appreciate you. NMAT says, I hate when they close off the streets in Manhattan. I kind of like it. Imagine in the summer skateboarding down here, it's gonna be great. Hey, Isaac says, good evening, everybody. What's up, Isaac? Welcome and thank you for joining. Abdullah, good to see you as always. So supposedly near Penn Station, there's going to be a total transformation. They're taking down the old Peninsula Hotel, and I believe they're building an office building. Hey, Lucas says, I'm here. Good to see you, Lucas. Anybody know what futures are doing? I'd be interested to see where futures are. I'd bet we're slightly red on the futures. Is that right? I'd love to see where the E-minis are, where the NASDAQ 100 futures are. Hey, Trevor says, just booked a 3-day trip to Brickell in South Beach. Dude, you're gonna have a great time. And maybe I'll see you down there, Trevor. I will be there very soon. Shaunos is flat. But Brickell has totally changed. Brickell is amazing. I would spend a lot of time in Mary Brickell Village. Great place. You'll love it. Okay, I see Jerry. What's up, Jerry? Yes, and Brickell Key. Class is Brickell Key as well. Amazing air show videos is ES down. So I think it's about flat. Photos from around New York says oil is up, US Treasury is down. That 10-year yield. Well, tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow's the CPI numbers. We'll see if there's a big reaction to that. I'll try to be on the Discord as much as possible tomorrow. I wasn't in there at all today, just because today was crazy with the conference calls. But if you guys are not in our Discord, feel free to check out the links in the description of this video. And join the Discord where we talk and also network about job opportunities and things like that. Hey, Nick Del Greco says, Tom, I just found your channel and I love it. Good, thank you so much, Nick. We're happy you're here. So Nick, on this channel, we live stream about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami, and then talk about different financial topics or just really anything, just sort of hang out. But good to have you here, Nick. Jerry says, boomers will have palpitations when they see the CPI. Well, consensus is for about 7.8%, but there has been some whisper numbers on the street of an 8% print. Mimi says VIX is at 32. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why I don't think the market has bottomed yet. Because for a real bottoming action, I want to see that VIX explode. I want to see that VIX rip faces off, go to 55 or 60. That's going to flush everybody out. So here's another shot at the Empire State Building. Yeah, Mimi's talking about the rate hikes. I think the market will actually probably react quite positively to any sort of rate hike. But then again, I don't to sort of, the Federal Reserve needs to stop buying assets. They need to stop buying US Treasuries. They need to stop buying mortgage-backed securities. And in last week's issue of the Behind the Street newsletter, I wrote a piece about the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, and I actually gave everybody a link where you could look at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet in real time. If you want to take a look at that, type !news, NEWS in the chat, and click the link. The Nightbot will send you a link. But you could actually look at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet in real time, because what Fed Chair Jerome Powell says and what he does are two different things. He'll say we need to stop purchasing assets, we're going to unwind the balance sheet. But if you look at the Fed's balance sheet, it's a hockey stick. It's literally a hockey stick chart from the bottom right to the top, or the bottom left to the top right. So what the Fed says and what they do are way two different things. So check that out. Click that link that the Nightbot just dropped, and you'll be able to read that. Great shot of the Empire State Building right here. Hey, Gloria Mills, this time flies when you're having fun, especially when you're good at what you're doing. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for being here, Gloria Mills. Michelle Henry says, hope you have a great night, Tom. Thank you, Michelle. Sally is here, says, beautiful view. Thank you. All my Korean friends are texting me right now. Supposedly yesterday was election day in South Korea. So Wednesday was election day. And I believe there's a new president now in South Korea. A lot of people are not happy about it. I don't really know anything about Korean politics. I think we do have some Korean viewers here, but election day was yesterday. Korea was totally closed yesterday. And there will be a new president. All right, we're back home, everybody. This is it. 7th Avenue, 34th Street. This is the big time. This is the big shebang right here. Penn Station, my favorite place. You can get the Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit, 1, 2, and 3 trains, as well as the ACE. Hey, Vinny Castellano, thank you for joining. Appreciate it, Vinny. Jay, thank you for joining tonight as always. Lou Rodriguez says, do you live far? Not too far. Not too bad. So this is 33rd and 7th, headed downtown. Indeed we are. We are 33rd and 7th. The Investigator says, good night, Tom. Walks in Wall Street. Thank you for being here, The Investigator. Hey, Warner says, go to the Hudson Yards. Maybe we'll do that one night on the stream. But thank you for joining tonight. Gloria Mills. Hey, James Dixon is here. Says, hey, Tom. Good to see you. James. They're doing so much construction here outside of the Madison Square Garden. In 2 years, this place, you're not even going to be able to recognize it. Everything is going to be brand new. Super excited about that. It's going to be the Penn District. So if you actually Google the Penn District, you could actually see all the design plans online. Cliffs is the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Agreed. So we're gonna make a right here on 31st and go down to the Moynihan train hall, which is the brand new Amtrak terminal as well. And that's where I will be when I go to Philly. Hey, Lucas is here. Good to see you, Lucas. The Austin Tennis is what's for dinner tonight. I already ate dinner tonight. I had dim sum on 23rd Street. I have not seen that Ray Dalio video. I'd be interested to see it. So James says, Tom, have you seen the Ray Dalio video about changing world order? So awesome. I have not. Can you drop it in the chat? Because I'd love to check that out. Hey, Blackjack says, what's up? I'm from Philly. Hey, I'm going to be in Philly on the 25th. So March 25th, I will be in Philly. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to Philly, so pretty excited about it. Supposedly Philly is a great city. I'm going to be taking the Amtrak train right here out of the Moynihan train station. Hey, Barry J says, we are coming to the Apple. We're coming to the Big Apple for St. Patrick's Day. Very cool. And to see a Broadway and have a slice. Good streaming. Thank you. You're going to have a great time for St. Patrick's Day here. Somebody says, was that a prison bus? It was not. That was, they give food to the homeless. But this is the Georgetown. I think there's a basketball game going on. So this is the Georgetown bus. Hey, XOXX Bobs. Tom, good evening, Manhattan. Wet today. It was snowing all day. It was snowing all day today. Mike Skate TV, good to see you. Barry J, welcome. Thank you everybody for joining. Photos from New York says ACC in the Big East. A lot of college basketball. So here we have Billy Joel. Madison Square Garden is the center of the universe as far as I'm concerned. I would have to agree. So this is the Hudson Yards. Beautiful crescent moon right here, overlooking the Hudson Yards. Cliffs is the ACC tournament is at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Awesome. All right, everybody, so that'll do it for tonight. I do have to catch a train. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it very much. We covered a lot today. We covered the big rally day on Wall Street with the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ also putting on big gains today. But beware, because a lot of these big gains were not on big volume. What we really want to see for a follow-through day is a lot of volume coming into the market, and there was actually lower volume than normal today. Covered, which is a cybersecurity company under the ticker symbol CRWD, reported better than expected earnings, a beat and raise quarter, beating on both the top and the bottom line. Tomorrow, also we talked about Amazon's 20-for-1 stock split. I think stock was up big on that news, which it shouldn't have been, but it is. If you want to connect with us on Twitter, we post a lot of content throughout the day on Twitter. You can follow at Walks Wall Street on Twitter. If you want to sign up for our free investing newsletter, it is the first link in the description of this video. If you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will give you the link. Feel free to sign up and read it for free. But thanks for joining me, everybody. We had a great walk through Soho, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Danny, thank you for joining. Photos from around New York. Cosmo Scary, Muhammad Abdullah, NMAT. Appreciate it. Bonnie Hudson, the Swan, Lucas, Lady O, our great moderator from New Jersey. Thank you all for joining. I'll leave you off with a great view of the Empire State Building right here on 8th Avenue. So Abdullah XOXX Bob, DWG, Sally, appreciate it. Emilio J, Tatian To Me, Lewis, Muhammad Atomic Skittles J, Shot by Scott Shawno, Danny Kars, British Gray, and to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere, and you just need to know where to look. And I'll see everybody right back here on the stream tomorrow. Make it a good one. CPI number Thursday. See you in the next one.